Hey everybody, welcome to the set of the 3500 series of Love of Quilting. I'm Sara Gallegos, and today I had a very talented guest with me filming an episode of Love of Quilting named Carmen Geddes. Welcome, Carmen.
Hi, Sara. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Carmen comes to us from 10 Sisters Handicraft. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, Carmen?
Oh my goodness. I'm a jack of all trades. I love teaching quilting techniques. I think I'd describe myself more of a technique teacher than anything else.
Yeah.
And we have a pattern company, and we've published books and everything quilting.
Everything quilting.
Yes.
So fun. And Carmen brought us a beautiful quilt today that we got to practice a little bit of applique and free motion skills. So there are a bazillion different types of free motion feet, right?
Yes, yes.
So we just wanted to take a few minutes here to kind of share with you the differences between some of those options so that you can kind of navigate those feet and know which one you might want to try.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I think that's one of the things I love about quilting now, and especially our beautiful sewing machines is the right tools are going to make our projects so much more fun and come out really well, but it can be a little bit overwhelming.
Right.
And so as we look at different free motion feet, we have these kind of separated in two groups.
Right.
The first group is a foot that you are going to, unscrew and reattach that to your shank, and they're going to stay put. They're not going to move around. And then the feet over on this side have either a spring or they're going to be moving as the needle goes up and down.
Yeah, they actually make contact, these feet, with the needle bar. So every time you take a stitch, they kind of bop up and down.
Right.
Whereas these just sort of float or hover right above the surface of the fabric.
Yeah, and kind of sometimes some of the difference or why you would choose one over the other, the feet that are going to have that spring and be moving with the needle bar are good to use if you have a thicker quilt. It's going to make contact with that quilt and give it some pressure every time the needle goes down in as you're moving around. And so don't be afraid if they make a little bit of noise. They're supposed to. They're supposed to make that noise. And then the ones that are stationary are really nice because they just hover. I personally like to use those when I have a small project and when I'm using a thinner batting or it's not a thick layer that we're going through. So to talk about a few of the different ones, this first one I think is very exciting because sometimes when we're doing free motion quilting, we have to decide where we're quilting. And so this is the ruler foot that actually lets you have a ruler that you are going to butt up against the edge of that foot, and you'll be able to guide that along the edge.
Right.
And so many times for those nice curves or shapes that we're not really confident with, or we want to really be able to echo nice and tight, then this is a great foot.
And ruler feet do come from different companies, right? So, but you have the one specific to your machine.
Yes. So I am sewing on this FAF Performance Icon, and beautiful machine, by the way. And so that's what I used on this machine. And so it's kind of nice because every time you get a machine, you will know which feet will work on your specific machine. You
don't have to question which height of a shank you have.
Exactly. So the next foot is this nice echo quilting foot, and I love those little red lines because echo means we're going to quilt a line and then we're going to echo next to it or echo around an applique, and so it gives you that guide. The other thing I like about this foot is that nice flat round circle because it's going to hold all the layers nice and stable, and so that's a really nice one to use too.
Absolutely, especially if you are quilting over any sort of surface embellishment, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So couching yarns or threads.
That's what I love about quilting, that everything counts and everything is acceptable in quilts now. You can just do so many fun things.
That's right. I agree.
The other one is actually the embroidery foot for the sewing machine, but it also works really well as a free motion. This is the one, if I just need something real quick, I will usually go to that foot when I just have a little small project. Maybe I made just a little wall hanging and I'm going to snap on this foot. And so, but it's nice because it has a nice little base to it. It kind of holds all those layers together really nicely.
Awesome. So what would be like your number one tip for somebody that's wanting to improve their free motion skills?
So my first tip would be matching thread.
All right, we talked about that
We
in the
did talk
episode.
about that. And
Yes.
so because sometimes we will think, oh, a contrasting thread will be so pretty. And then we look at our quilting and we start being really critical of our own work. And
Right.
so the matching thread and the other thing is think about creating texture.
Right.
You know, and you can always learn to do some beautiful quilting designs, you know, learn to do feathers and things like that. But I always tell my students, start with something where you're just creating texture,
Right.
and we're not worried about a super design. And the other thing is, don't be too critical of your work.
Right, be nice to yourself.
Be
right?
nice
That's
to
what I always
yourself.
say.
Yeah, that's super important.
Wonderful.
And so, you know, learning to do the free motion quilting with shapes that you're familiar with, even writing your name.
Right. Well, Carmen, you are a wealth of information. Thanks for sharing all of this with us.
Thank you for having me.
Be sure to check out Carmen's episode, Baby's First Wedding, in the 3500 series of Love of Quilting.